Hey everyone, Farming Lemon here. What I have for you guys today is another mod spotlight, and in this one we'll be taking a look at what's right behind me, which is a 2024 Dodge Ram 3500 Crew Cab. Now I know I've reviewed one of these mods, or at least similar mods in the past. This one, however, is a little bit different. Now, this mod allows you to customize the truck a lot more differently, and it's a mod brought to us by the FSMR modding team. You can find the download in the description below, and unfortunately right now, like most of the mods I review, this is only going to be for PC users, so if you're looking to download the mod, check the description below. So to touch on a couple of the overview points here, there are different engine setups, different wheel setups, different customization options. You can also have multiple passengers in this vehicle as well. And one thing that's nice too is that you can have a plow on the front, as well as different options for the bed, transfer tank, chainsaw storage, as well as different novelty things such as novelty plates, a working winch, different bumper options, camper shells, windshield visors, and etc. Different exhaust options as well. You have two different hitches as well as a fifth wheel and gooseneck attachments as well. Different badges and decals as well as different capacity options, and that's for your transfer tank. So let's go ahead and dive right into this and let's take a deeper look into it. And if you enjoy this video, please leave a like. It's always much appreciated, as well as a comment down below of any other video suggestions. Diving right in, so your base price for the 2024 Dodge Ram is $67,000. So that's just for base price of the vehicle. So this is how it's going to look. First thing you have is a couple of different engine setups. So your current one right now is a 6.7 turbo diesel, so that's going to be at 420 horsepower, and you have some different options here as well. So you have the second option for 470, so you have a second option here for 470 horsepower, as well as 670 and your 1000 horsepower option as well. Now, one thing to note is this 1000 horsepower I think is only for the track option, and we'll take a look at that as well. So for myself, I'm just going to leave this as stock. You also have different wheel setups as well. So currently we have the stock setup here, and you can kind of go through and see what you like the most. You have some white lettering on the side, which is kind of unique. You also have different wheel setups with a lift kit as well, as you can see with a striker lift kit. And then one thing that's actually kind of cool and unique about this is that, as mentioned before, you have the track option as well. So definitely a unique aspect of this mod that I haven't seen before. So pretty cool. 30 grand for that option. I guess whatever you kind of like, the options are here as well. So it's pretty customizable in my opinion. So the third option here is for racks and light bar. You can see here on the back that you can change the rack. So you can have a normal rack here with a light bar, and you can add some different options. Pretty standard here, but also adds a nice touch to the vehicle as well. You have a cam locker and then the truck bed subwoofer as well. So you can change this however you like it. There's your transfer tank, and then you can have a transfer tank with a toolbox as well, which is kind of unique. You can also add subwoofers and kind of make it a vehicle that you kind of like to. Crazy setup like this too. So a lot of different options, however you want your vehicle to look. Moving on here too, you have the Nerf bars, train horns, as well as your hood ornaments. So there's quite a few for this one as well. Different customizations. You have John Deere hood ornament. Whatever you think that looks best, there are a lot of different options. And one thing that I mentioned too here is your plow mount as well as your mud flaps too. So you can have your standard plow mount, and then there's another plow mount for a lift kit. So if you're running a lift kit on this, then you're gonna want to keep plow mount for the striker lift. So in addition to that, you also have the rear mud flaps as well, which is a nice little touch. And then moving on here, so this one is actually pretty unique and pretty detailed in my opinion too. So this one has your typical welding setup with your fifth wheel in the back. This one is a pretty much standard setup, and this one's kind of cool. Mainly looks like a utility service vehicle. A lot of different options here, which is something that I find pretty cool and honestly pretty unique here. So This one's kind of your standard bed setup with your fifth wheel in the back. And then you can also change right here in front. You can add some fender flares, and you can change some of the interior portions as well. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but if you go and look in the rear, you can also add your subwoofers. So through the front windshield, you can see that we have a subwoofer. You can change your setup as well to however you like it. So the next option here is the stock bumper and front novelty plates. For some reason, it's not working for my setup right now. And keep in mind, I still have the stock 2024 bumper, so none of that has changed. For some reason, the front license plate should be changing. In the past, I've tried this too, but it seems like it's not working for at least myself. We have different options here for the stock, or for the front bumper, I should say. You can have a stock bumper here, including a light bar. You can change it to a 2018 bumper as well. This next option here is actually pertaining to this previous one that we were looking at. So the ranch hand bumper front novelty plates will actually change your plates here. So as you can see, you have a Do It For Dale plate, as well as a International Harvester plate. You have quite a few, and adds a nice little touch as well. For the time being, I like to keep it simple, so I'm going to leave it with the 2024 bumper with a light bar. And in this case, moving on to the next option here, we have the camper shells here, so pretty self-explanatory. Now, keep in mind, if you're looking to combine some of these features, that you'll have to kind of change things. So in this case, like if you have this back bar here, you can remove that since they're kind of colliding with each other, but without it, it would look much better, right? So you can kind of see here, you have different options for the bed here. Now this would be for the stock bed, right? So you can add different camper shells, whatever you kind of like here. You can also add a winch and CB radio with some strobe lights as well. You can see that we have that winch right in front from the previous option, and different combinations as well. You can add the strobe light. Once again, different features inside of the cab will change. You can add a cell phone and a PS4. Now I know it's somewhere inside of the cab, but I cannot see it. You can see that the PS5 is right in kind of in that passenger seat, or in front of it, I should say. So different combinations, kind of whatever you, I guess, kind of like, to be honest. A lot of different features to kind of make the vehicle unique. Moving on here, you can see that we can change the sun visor as well and add different features as well. So you can do maybe a can of Coke and a pack of cigarettes too. So whatever you find unique. You can also add a side logo to the vehicle as well. So in this case, you have a Yellowstone Dutton Ranch logo, as well as the modding group, the FSMR logo as well. One thing that I find pretty cool is the exhaust options. So, and you can see here that we can change it to a side skirt or a skirted flatbed, as well as a dual exhaust. So you have one on each side, a few different ones here as well. And then I think you have, so a single hood stack, which is kind of cool. And then some bed stacks as well. And then kind of, as I mentioned before as well, in order to make these mods look a little bit better, you can kind of change things out. So in this case, the transfer tank. So moving along here, you can also change some of the decals that are on the rear of the tailgate here. So you can see that we have a Tonka option. You have a Caterpillar and duck rated badge. I think that's right next to the 4x4 logo. Pretty subtle details, but once again, it makes the truck pretty unique to what you like. And then you have different attachers as well. You only have a couple here. So one thing I wanted to include really quick, in order to make the gooseneck properly attached to your fifth wheel, you need to have one of the attachers added to your truck. So whether that be the 10-inch or the 6-inch drop, then you can have that successfully attached. If you're using a transfer tank, such as in my case here, you'll want to change this capacity to a 2, and then you'll have a capacity of 380 liters for your diesel. Going on to the last option here, you have different options for colors, which is also pretty standard to what we've seen in the past. All right, so this is the truck that we just went ahead and purchased. Taking a look at the interior of this vehicle, you can see that we have different door speakers as well. And then we didn't opt for the subs, but you could see that would be right in back as well. A different cell phone. If you go ahead and turn on the truck, see that we have a nice center console, or I guess display here, as well as a digital display for your odometer. And one thing that's honestly really unique about this mod is the sound. So let's take a look at it, at least starting up here. And you can hear that turbo spool up, which is honestly, I love it. It sounds so good. You can actually open the front hood, so you need the vehicle to be on for this. And what you'll do is you have to click both mouse buttons, and then you can, if you want to open it. The details are pretty spot on, and for what it is, it looks really good. So as mentioned before too, the sound of this truck is very unique. It sounds really good. I'll kind of let you guys listen to the truck here as we move along. But in my opinion, this is probably one of the best sounding diesel trucks that I have reviewed thus far. It sounds really good, sounds true to a diesel, and honestly adds a really nice touch to the truck as well. So now what I wanted to take a look at with you guys is the track options. So let's go ahead and get this set up with the 1,000 horsepower engine setup here and the tune. And let's go ahead and configure everything else to how we like it. All right, so this is the setup here. So as mentioned before, this is with the 1,000 horsepower engine setup. So one thing I also wanted to mention really quick as well is that you also have chainsaw storage as mentioned before. So all you need to do is go up to where the chainsaw kind of figure is highlighted like that, and then you can go up and kind of press R. It's a little finicky at first, and then you press R to get it back. And with all of the lights turned on, you can see, especially at the top here, you have your light bar fully working, as well as the lights on top of the cab as well, which is honestly pretty nice. And so this truck gets up and it moves very quick and I don't think you'll have any issue kind of traveling or traversing any terrain, in my opinion. So although you have a max speed on the odometer of 167 miles per hour, you're only going to be able to achieve maybe around 30 miles per hour, as you can see. So from the outside looking at this truck, it looks really good with the tracks on. It gives you the ability to kind of customize the truck to however you would like it as well, which is really nice. All right, so the last thing I kind of wanted to show off with this mod, and something that's pretty cool, is the snowplow. So here's the snowplow mounted up to the vehicle, and honestly with the plow, looks really good. And then with the gooseneck as well, we'll get that mounted up here. I think even with the gooseneck, this setup looks really good. And honestly, I think this truck is something I would use, and I'm probably going to use on my own personal farm. The sound of the vehicle sounds really good. Now, as mentioned before, if you're looking for this mod, you can find it in the description below. I would suggest checking it out and giving it a try. But I think that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below and I'll get back to you. If you guys also enjoyed this, please leave a like. And also, if you have any other suggestions for videos or any other ideas on what to review, leave those in the comments below. They're always much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Bye.